What's up, nerds? Plugged In is back at it again. Today we're talking about Kenobi, Doctor Strange, and everything that came out of CinemaCon. Plugged In starts right now. So we are just about a week out from Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. There's been a couple trailers that have dropped. So what do you guys think? Predictions before like a week out. What are we thinking like is going to show up in the movie at all?
A lot of shit.
Well, yeah, multiverse in the name,
right.
You know?
I know that there was like a leaked trailer of America Chavez punching the Star Portal and then like a couple people going through it. So I hope we see a lot of that because that would be pretty cool. Jumping through the multiverse.
A lot of cameos.
Yeah, well, I also saw in one of the trailers that no one's talking about is that you could see the face of the Living Tribunal in one of them. What America gets like punched or something like that, and they're in like that weird dimension realm where that like ship door opens and like it's like
right.
But apparently in that you could see in the background the Living Tribunal, the face of him, and I'm like that would be actually interesting because we haven't seen them, but we saw them in Loki. Like we saw a statue at least of the head of the Living Tribunal, so it would be cool to actually see him live action.
You think
now.
we'll see Loki? Now, speaking of Loki.
I think so. I mean, there's been rumors that him, Sylvie, and Owen Wilson's character Mobius is going to show up, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, the TVA deals with multiversal threats, and I'm pretty sure with Doctor Strange tampering with the multiverse in No Way Home and them eventually talking about it now, it's definitely going to happen.
I have really no idea how this movie's actually going to play out. To be completely honest, I feel like it's just gonna be just trying to mess with us and try to like branch out. At the very end, it's gonna branch out into like 20 million questions for us instead of any answers. It's not. I don't think it's gonna give us anything that we're like, oh, I want this solved. It's gonna give us like two things, and then it's gonna be like, all right, here's 20 things you need to figure out within the next movie.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the next movie is gonna be Thor: Love and Thunder, which is definitely gonna be maybe a later movie, a little bit later than this, I'm gonna sure. But
it seems like it is right now. I have a feeling that after kind of what they did with Spider-Man, after like either the mid credits or the post credit is gonna be like an extended trailer for Thor, so you can actually see more like multiverse stuff with it.
Yeah.
But I have no idea.
Well, I think another big question on everyone's minds is really Wanda. What's her role in this? Because it's really mixed right now. It's like some things we see her being kind of a bad person, but then in other cases we're seeing her kind of helping Doctor Strange out.
Right.
What do you think's her end-all, be-all in this movie? You think she's going to start off good and turn bad, or if it starts off bad, turns good?
I feel like it's going to be more, well, okay. I was going to say start bad but turn good, but that's exactly what happened in Age of Ultron, and I don't think they're going to repeat that. So I feel like it's going to be flip-flopped. Because there is that one trailer where you see her just like, it's when she's like walking and she literally like crushes what looks like a head or something, you know, she crushes with her magic and like blood spurts. So I feel like she's not going to be the best person. I don't know if she's the main antagonist, but I think she will probably play into that.
Well, based on the first trailer, I was like, oh, I thought that she was going to show Strange like the multiverse traveling through. Watching the new trailers, I'm like, okay, it's obviously America Chavez. She's the one who's going to be doing that. But I have a feeling this could be close to the end of Wanda's arc. I could see them trying to remove it like Phoenix Force. Obviously, nobody really cares about X-Men. But I could see it being one of those, let's just get rid of the most powerful thing right now so that they can give us Kang and have a fair fight. Because I don't think that having Wanda in currently allows a fair fight at all.
Yeah, she is the most powerful being.
Like
I
don't see, because like let's be honest, like how is Strange just gonna be like, you're a good guy now, and she's just gonna no. I think that the smartest move would be like trying to remove power from her or just ending her character.
I mean, wasn't at the time around the era of Endgame, Captain Marvel was one of the most powerful beings, and she was just in it for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So they could end up just doing something like that where they make this movie more focused on her, but then have her take a step back.
Well, I think we look at Captain Marvel when they said she's the most powerful. She got, destroyed by Thanos with the Power Stone.
Right.
So, I mean...
And you see watching Wanda in that without the Power Stone, obviously, but like still...
Look what she did in WandaVision.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
She just brainwashed an entire.
But like at the time, Captain Marvel was the most powerful.
Yeah, but I think Wanda's definitely taking that kick now that she is officially the Scarlet Witch. So, I mean, I think with this movie too, with it kind of being more somber, a little more scary, we're gonna see some deaths. And I know
I
we're
think
kind
so.
of like maybe you're thinking Wanda right now at
I'm
least.
thinking Wanda. I'm thinking. I don't know why I want to say Wong.
Really?
I want to say Wong might have his moment here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think that he's a great character. I don't want to see him go, but I think that it's like one of those. This would probably give Strange that boost.
See, I think it's going to be Rachel McAdams' character, because that's what happens in What If. That's the whole reason that he does what he does in What If. So I wonder if maybe even in a multiverse where evil sorcerer Doctor Strange is from, maybe she dies in that universe. I think you're right, though. I think someone's going to die.
Well, I guess we'll just find out in a week's time. But jumping over to a galaxy far, far away, we have a couple set photos from Kenobi that was shown off in the Entertainment Weekly article that they just posted about it. We see Obi-Wan with some figures and stuff like that, and just some other shots of Inquisitors and stuff like that. What are your guys' thoughts on kind of seeing the pictures with them being a month out for the show?
I had not seen the pictures yet, actually. So
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't really looking at it. I mean, I think the show will be a good show. I think that it's going to focus a lot less on combat at the beginning and then maybe introduce something at the end. But I'm excited. I think that the story itself will be kind of interesting. I don't think it's going to take place really on Tatooine too much, I hope.
I really hope not.
Because we discussed this, and I was like, if it's at Tatooine, it's kind of like, yeah, we're going to find Luke Skywalker, like, instantly. And, Vader's going to have him killed.
Yeah, it's just, this is like the same problem with the Book of Boba Fett, like what you were just mentioning. It's like, Tatooine's just been overused now in Star Wars. It's been used a lot, this entire setting of Boba Fett. We never left the planet once. And The Mandalorian has gone there quite a bit in its season 2 especially. So it's a planet that I think they just need to branch off of because there's so many other better planets.
I think they're just scared. I think they're scared to branch away from it. I think it's just like, this is like the most iconic place, and like they're like, oh, if we go away, then like half the Star Wars fans are going to be like, you can't get rid of that. That's the original thing.
Yeah,
and then the other half's going to be like, come on,
see,
give us
I
something new. Give us Coruscant.
See,
like,
I feel like, but I feel like they're going to try to stray away because, like you were saying, the whole point of this is that Kenobi's in hiding. And so, like, in the Xbox game that came out with Cal, like, that whole thing was hiding the fact that you were a Jedi, and that's clearly a part of the plot. So that's why I feel like they're going to go away from Tatooine, because if he draws too much attention to himself, he draws too much attention to Luke, and then yada, yada, yada. So that's why I think they're going to stray away from Tatooine and hopefully go on, Coruscant or another planet that we've maybe only talked about but never really heard of.
There's some new planet that they've shown that looks more like a Coruscant, but it definitely looks more like a New Orleans kind of city. So I'm sure we'll see that. I really just think that I think the first 2 episodes will be on Tatooine because they're both coming out the same day. So I'm pretty sure like end of episode 2 is when they leave leave Tatooine or whatever. I mean, with cameos too. I think it's going to be a cameo-heavy show. I think there's a lot of people that are alive during this time from the Clone Wars, and I'm pretty sure Bryce Dallas Howard came out a couple weeks ago and said that if you are a fan of Clone Wars and Rebels, you are going to love this show, which leads me to believe that there will be quite a bit of cameos or flashbacks within it.
I hope so. I hope that, Clone Wars is the only time that we've ever talked about Satine, so I would love to see a live-action Satine to go back to his days, before the events of the prequels. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe we'll see Ahsoka, because she, obviously, that would be pretty cool.
That would be really cool. Now with Rosario Dawson, it's not like it would be hard to do it. I really would like to see Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, and Rosario Dawson on screen together at least once in this show.
I just want to see any kind of confrontation between, Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Right.
Any kind. It doesn't matter if it's a battle.
Fun.
It doesn't matter if it's just a verbal thing. I don't care. I think it'll be more than enough for me to be like, cool, thanks. thanks for giving me this fan service here.
Well, I think this show is really going to do a good job fan service. I think it'll be better than Boba Fett, by far. But
Right.
then again, if they somehow mess this up, I'm going to be really sad, and I think Star Wars is going to lose a lot of
There's
faith
a lot
in my
of there's a lot of
eyes for
pressure
it.
on them, I think, because of this show. Because everyone loves Ewan McGregor and everyone loves Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I feel like they can't mess it up.
Yeah,
We'll just cross our fingers.
it's a who knows? We'll see. We'll see.
We will see. But speaking of big properties, CinemaCon has been going on this week, and we've had a lot of big announcements. A couple of the big ones were SpiderVerse, Mission Impossible, Avatar 2 finally got its name drop. So let's kind of start with Across the SpiderVerse. It's having a pretty big universe. They said 6 universes, 240 something characters. Like, it's a 2-parter film, but that still seems like a lot to fit into
Right.
4 hours of media basically.
Well, what I had read is in the first 20 minutes is what that first trailer was, actually.
Really?
Yeah, that fight is supposed to happen within the first 20 minutes of the film. And I'm very excited to see how fast-paced it is. And it's nice to be like, them just come out and be like, the trailer, that's the first 20 minutes. And then me being like, what are we doing for the rest of the time? That's why I'm excited for that movie. I think the first movie was fantastic, and I don't think they're going to make a mess with the next one either.
It is going to be cool to see Oscar Isaac to play another character in the MCU with him
Right.
being Moon Knight now and now him being Spider-Man 2099. So that's really going to be neat to see.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be cool. I heard also that there's going to be animated versions of Toby, Andrew, and Tom
That's
that
cool.
are going to show up, which would be cool because there's 6 universes they're showing. They could easily show
Right.
Raimi, the Webverse, and the MCU. So anything's really possible there.
That'll be fun.
I mean, but I think personally for me, I think the big thing to come out of this week really was Avatar 2, The Way of the Water.
Right.
That's what the title is. It's been 13 years now since we had the first Avatar.
Yeah.
I think this has been a topic, at least with a lot of my friends, is I don't think it's going to have the hype that the first one did.
Well, they're re-releasing the first one later
Yeah.
this year,
So they can
so
top-
that they can hype it up.
It's remastered too. It's not like it's just a
Yeah, it's
re-release of
better
the movie. Yeah.
because they realized that there's a lot of mistakes from the original. Like if you watch the original actual cut, it's like pretty sloppy animation sometimes. You kind of brush that past once you're like living in that moment. But
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
also the first movie to really heavily utilize CGI like that in mocap.
Right.
So
I think it's going to be really good. I honestly, I actually think it'll look fantastic. At least I don't know about the story, but I know that I've been at like Pandora and Disney World. It's beautiful down there. I doubt like if they can make Pandora or the Avatar world inside of like a real space, I can't imagine what they're going to end up doing within the second movie, because you go in there, you feel like you're really there at Disney World. So
My only thing is, one of my pet peeves with Hollywood is when they make unnecessary sequels years after the movie releases. So like Mamma Mia and then Mamma Mia 2, which came out like maybe like 10 years afterwards, and the same thing with this.
Whoa.
I mean, as much as I've never seen Avatar from start to finish, but I've seen a lot of the movie. It's not bad. I know that some people aren't a big fan of it. I agree that like technically it's a very good film, and it's one of the first films that really does it really well. But I just, story-wise, I agree. I think if you wait 10 plus years to make a sequel to a movie that didn't really need a sequel, it better have a really good story, especially when they plan on having like 4 more.
yeah, that's the thing. I just
Well,
feel
they-
like with them having 4 more movies,
They
like,
had planned this years. The point it was originally made, though, they
Yeah.
had all 5 movies already written. Basically, they just couldn't push it out because
the technology.
the
wasn't-
technology
Right.
wasn't there, and they wanted more room to work with it. And obviously, they just kind of got pushed off to the side because, I mean, once you become the biggest movie animated wise in that time period, it's like, how do you go about it making your next one
Yeah.
with the exact same technology? You're not
Right.
getting that wow factor anymore. So they kind of had their arms and legs tied behind.
I'm really excited to see. I mean, I'll go see it. The excitement isn't there. I'll go see it. I'll be excited to watch it because I remember watching when I was 10 years old in the movie theater. It was like one of the first 3D movies that I can actually remember seeing, because it was
Right.
back when 3D got all big. But I think James Cameron has had enough time to really work on the script, really think it through. And I think if this movie does well, I think the next 3 movies that come out over like the next 5-6 years will do pretty well. So, but another big one, Super Mario movie, pushed back. Chris Pratt, man.
Rip.
He's in everything, first of all. Just want to
I
put that
know.
out there. But
I hate it.
Yeah.
I
it's
can't.
just weird. I'm wondering if they're gonna push it back even more. It's a weird movie and it's a weird time for it to come out. Like Chris Pratt, Charlie Day, and Anya Taylor-Joy are big actors and actresses, and like the whole cast is well-known people. But it's just weird.
My prediction really is this is going to be what Sonic was supposed to happen. When Sonic had its horrible design, and if they had not made the changes, it would never have went anywhere. And I think that A, Super Mario Bros. Is going to be one of the worst movies ever, or B, it will never come to light because of like pushback and backlash, unless they recast or they make it an animated kind of film
Right.
instead of a live action.
They should have just
More like a live. It's just
brought
I
the
don't know.
original voice actors back for it.
I would have just rathered a new game. I don't need a movie. I
don't
just
need
wanted a
movie.
game.
Yeah.
Have you seen the original Mario? It's terrible.
Oh yeah.
It's the
of course
original
I
movie.
have. Yes, of course I
It's
have.
terrible.
Oh, it's a fun thing to watch. It's not good by any means necessary. I mean, John Leguizamo is Luigi, and
Right.
it's really funny. But this movie is really what fans really like. You said, you guys are more Nintendo fans than I am, and
Right.
you'd rather say you'd rather have a game out of it.
Yeah, I mean, like Super Mario Odyssey is a great game, and I don't remember exactly when it came out, but I think it was somewhere around the time that the Switch came out, so it's been probably
It's
at
been a
least
while.
4 years
Yeah.
since like any Mario. I mean, not any Mario content, but like
Mario
like
Soccer's coming
something
out.
new, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, could you imagine Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, but on the Switch?
It's
I
already on-
would
it's
I
already
would be
on.
more hyped for
No,
that
it's on-
than I
They
am.
have one. They made one. It went bust. It's a terrible game.
Well, wasn't it for 2018? They did it for.
It's not
Never
a good
mind.
game. The most recent, they made it for the Switch, and I've heard it's not good. Yeah.
Really?
I'd rather that than a
Yeah,
movie.
I heard it was nothing like the Wii game.
Okay.
They ruined it. Sad.
Sad.
Well, kind of wrapping up CinemaCon, one of the other big things to get a name drop was Mission Impossible 7. It's The Dead Reckoning, but it's a part 1.
Wow.
Why is everyone doing that? Dune's doing it.
I think
Right.
it's a
This is
terrible-
doing it.
I think it's not. I think it's a cash grab.
Oh,
I
it's
think-
easily a cash
I
grab.
think that Hollywood's having a struggle right now that's kind of untold.
Yeah.
I think that the movie industry is having this struggle of fighting with streaming platforms. And the only way to pull people into an audience right now is saying, hey, this is a 2-part movie.
You got to see it in theaters.
You
only.
have to see
Right.
it. You have to see it in theaters, and there's going to be a second part, and we're going to release it. And I wouldn't be surprised for these part 1s and part 2s to come out within like a half a year period now. Like I'm not saying this would, but I think in the next 5-10 years you're going to see part 1, and then 6 months later part 2.
Yeah, you're gonna have it like in the summer, like early summer months, and then you're gonna round it out the year with that Christmas box
Right.
office.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think I saw something that they wrapped up filming for part 1, but they were already ready to start filming
Yeah.
Mission Impossible 8 part 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're already ready. I wouldn't be surprised if they release it within the year.
It's not out of the
Within the
ordinary.
year of each other releasing.
It's not out of the ordinary for stuff to do like that, but kind of moving on to video games, we have a game that's kind of interesting, a battle royale game called Blood Hunt. Basically, you're a vampire and you're using supernatural powers, and it's just weird battle royale, which I thought battle royales were dead, but I guess not.
I mean, they're kind of dying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they're trying to bring it back with a new concept. I mean, Fortnite, people still play it. And,
yeah.
and I mean, stuff like Apex,
Warzone's the
PUBG.
big one.
Yeah,
They just added
Warzone.
Godzilla and King Kong in the Warzone.
Do they really?
Yes.
See, the thing
Yes.
is, battle royales are kind of big cash grabs, especially with what's on the market right now. They always get, sponsor, or they try to sponsor other like things. They have game characters, movie characters.
Yeah,
come in.
Fortnite's the biggest
And
one
yeah,
for
you,
it.
you
Spider-Man
obviously
is in
think about it
Fortnite.
right away, and you're like, oh my god, come on, just like we don't need that. But I haven't heard of it, but like based on what you said, I think it could be interesting. I think it's a new take, a refreshing take, without having to be maybe the same exact game as any others.
Right.
We'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see when I don't know, it comes out, right?
I
Or is
mean,
it out?
but here's the kicker. Unlike Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone, it's only available for PC and PS5.
Well, it's not that weird to have, console exclusives. So
But for a
PS5
battle royale, though,
For a
Yeah.
battle royale, I guess you're right. Yeah.
This
I mean,
is
kinda
like
odd.
the first time I feel like, because I know like Fortnite and PUBG, and I don't know about Apex because I don't play it, but like those have like mobile games.
Yes, they do.
Like you can play Fortnite on your phone because that's how much of a dominating thing they have on the market. So I almost feel like, unless this game is going to be like really, really, really good, they're kind of like screwing themselves over by only really putting it on 2 platforms.
no, unless they're only trying to make a small budget just to
Yeah.
make back the money.
I
I
mean,
guess
it could
we'll
just
have
be
to
like a
see.
smaller,
Right.
niche game for that console. And knowing the PS5, it's probably going to be a decent, looking game.
I'm sure it will. But speaking of things that have been confirmed, Batman 2, Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves coming back. I am super excited because honestly, I think the Batman is my favorite DC film now, and I'm not
Wow.
ashamed to say that. When I heard that both him and Matt Reeves are coming back, I just knew that this movie's already going to be good. I think the big question is though, with the Joker getting introduced in
Right.
the end of the first movie, who is going to be the next main villain? There's been rumors that it could be Hush, could be rumors that it's Mr. Freeze. I'm leaning more towards one of those because I think they're saving the Joker.
For the third.
Yeah.
I feel like that maybe it will be like Joker in the background doing stuff, but like the main villain of the second movie being kind of like this red herring, and being like, oh, you're totally doing this shit. I'm gonna,
Yeah.
and then it's actually just we're gonna find out at the end it's gonna be like the Joker's been like pulling all the puppet
Yeah.
strings.
Right.
and
The thing that
whatnot.
I like about the Batman is that the Riddler is so big in it, because in like the Dark Knight trilogy, for example, it's like your typical villains: Scarecrow, Joker, Bane. Like those are the big 3, and those are the common ones in the Batman Arkham games: Joker, Bane, Scarecrow. Riddler's in it, but at least in the 2 that I've played, he's not a main villain. Like he's just like a little side quest thing that you can get achievement points for. So they're bringing out villains that, Penguin as well, that don't really get a lot of time in the sun. So I hope that they decide to bring out someone like Mr. Freeze or Hush or any of the villains that maybe never really got their time on the screen.
Yeah. I definitely would like to see a Mr. Freeze because personally this is a more grounded take on Batman and the Gotham universe. And I want to see how they would do that in more of a realistic way. Whether it's a man who just technically savvy who can freeze people with a gun, which is pretty normal for Mr. Freeze, or it's literally just Arnold Schwarzenegger like on ice skates and everything like
Right.
I
that.
think
Like,
we just recast Arnold. I think that he was the perfect rendition.
well, it's like the same thing with Jim Carrey's Riddler. But then again, Paul Dano just blew it out of the water because honestly, Paul Dano as the Riddler was just probably the perfect casting choice in Hollywood in recent years. So, you think Zoe Kravitz will return? I mean, she's kind of off on her own now. I mean, we know we are getting spin-off series with the Penguin. We're getting a spin-off series with Commissioner Gordon with this Arkham series. Could we maybe see her coming back in this movie or her potentially getting a TV show on HBO Max?
I'm sure Zoe Kravitz is a good actress. She did well. I'm sure they'll bring her back because they know that they can get a specific audience for her.
I think it depends.
I'm also with you. It might
I
depend.
think that DC needs to get more footing into the hero universe, and I think that they don't have that ability right now. Until they make a few more films, I think that they need to prove that they can keep this level of content quality, and I just don't know if they are going to be able to. I mean, they blew it out of the water with the movie, but do you think that they're going to be able to keep up with all these other directors doing stuff? Maybe this was great, but I could see it going south with spin-off films from the characters.
I think with Zoe Kravitz already introduced, I think they're going to maybe introduce someone like Nightwing or get some sort of a Robin character in there.
That would be
Because I think it would be cool for Batman to realize, oh, wait, there's another vigilante out there who's doing way worse things than I am, like maybe killing
Right.
or doing horrible things to just civilians. And we find out that it's a Nightwing kind of character where maybe Batman is like, work with me. We could actually clean the city up. I know what you're doing is wrong because the first movie he learned like his lesson about what he has to do. He has to
Right.
be a symbol of hope, not fear. So he's like, come with me. We can do this together. We can clean up the city. I think that would be a pretty cool like sub villain to have in there because they kind of had that with this one with the Penguin and
Right.
the Mob and everything like that. Those were like their sub villains, which
Yeah.
paid off.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that would be a really good direction for him too.
We'll just have to see. No release date for it yet. But Molly, this is our last episode of Plugged In before we graduated. And I wanted to do a little something special. Talk about what was your greatest Plugged In moment here?
We've talked about a lot of stuff that I've been really happy to talk about. I mean, a couple weeks ago, we talked about our favorite video games, which is always my favorite thing to talk about. We've been talking about Marvel projects for forever, starting all the way back when we were talking about Shang-Chi and Eternals and Spider-Man. I don't know if there's a specific memory that I have that is my favorite, but I'm very proud of how we've grown.
Oh, sad.
Right, sad. But starting back in the fall and then growing to where we are now in the spring, we've talked about a lot of different things. We've talked about, some smaller projects, some things that I've literally never heard of before until I sat down in the chair and talked about it that week. So I don't know. I'm very happy to have been a part of Plugged In and watch it grow to what it is today.
Bree, what about you? I know you're not graduating, but what's been your favorite Plugged In memory?
My favorite moment wasn't actually on the set. It was building this from the ground up with everyone. Building it with you, building it with Molly, building it with everyone. And, behind the scenes, you don't see everyone right now, but they're there.
Yeah.
But I think that it's always been the creation of this. We started from going from a live kind of format with a green screen wall to a full-blown set, and I couldn't be more proud of where it's come and the people who've been working the show.
Right.
And I think that's what makes me happy, is that this is happening every week and doing well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree that my greatest memory is all the friends we made along the way. I think all the crew that's behind the scenes, right? I know it's cliche, but everyone that's behind the scenes right now, they really did good work this semester. And honestly, guys, come on. No, come.
Come on.
You got to get
right
your
now.
time to show. All of you. I know you don't want to. Come on.
Yeah,
everyone
you
get
too.
up.
You too, Tyler. Take
Come
your
on,
headphones
everyone.
off.
I can't stand up.
If it
we don't
really,
have headroom,
everyone
do we?
come.
Yeah, we don't have headroom.
We have enough headroom.
If
We
it
do?
really wasn't for all of these people, this show would not go on every week. And I think that,
Get a little down. You can't
down,
see
get
me. You're
down,
talking.
sorry, if it really wasn't for all of these fine people right here, this show would never go on every week. And if it wasn't for them and for all this hard work they put in, this show would not be going next year. And I'm very happy to give it off to Vanessa and Tyler and Christian, who cannot be here tonight, and all the rest of you guys. You're going to do great next semester. And I think that's all we really have for today. So I
Right.
think we're going to sign off, me and Molly, for our last episode of Plugged In. So thank you for watching Millersville and Plugged In. We'll see you next semester.
Have a great night.
See you guys.